Hi, this is a short recording. Actually, you know what? I was gonna have this be a short recording to test the audio. I haven't uploaded a pre-recorded in a hot minute. I also haven't used the Kawaii Tarot in a hot minute. Speaking of hot minutes, the sun has come out. And with the sun kissing my face, there's no way that I can lose. I guess we're keeping it. So I'm going to use the Kawaii Tarot. The Seven of Pentacles came out at the cut with the sun. And it just flipped over in the deck. And you can see in this deck, there's a sun right there next to the Seven of Pentacles. I love the Kawaii Tarot and its simplicity. It offers a lot in how it chooses to like stack swords or cups or pentacles or wands or lollipops. And sometimes it adds to the reading. Sometimes it doesn't. I guess more often than not it does. Sometimes it can just be whether or not it's noted or mentioned or said or declared or whatever. So anyway. Okay. Looks like this whole one is upside down. Okay, so I'm going to do 3 cards. This is going to be a quick general. I really want to do like a situation at hand, challenge, and advice. And the reason why I want to do like challenge and advice is because I was just thinking of when I ran through the Suit of Cups in reverse on the last episode of the podcast with my podcast pal, and how like there were some cards that came out as we were talking about them. It's like this would be really interesting to see in a challenge position, or this would be really interesting in an advice position. And I guess since I'm talking about reversals, I should probably at least include some of them. I apologize if this is loud. The microphone is a lot closer to me than it has been. I am like pushing the red, but you can always turn the volume down. So the Four of Wands was left on the table. The Page of Pentacles is at the bottom of the deck. Interestingly enough, I'm going to put some reversals in here. There's the High Priestess. With the Two of Swords, which is a minor High Priestess card for me. Because the Two of Swords is that point in time where we probably have to rely on our intuition, because logically things could go either way. So first card is out and it is face down. This is the situation at hand. The second card is going to be the challenge. Oh, there we go. Over inside the deck. King of Pentacles in reverse is the challenge. And then the advice. Look, the Queen of Pentacles in reverse at the cut with the Knight of Wands upright. I guess like in the Suit of Pentacles, if there were a couple that gets a little boring, it might be those. So maybe with that Knight of Wands, it's about spicing things up, but you know, we'll see. So the advice, 2 cards came out for the advice, flipped over, and they stuck out enough for me to actually just grab them. I didn't have to flip back through, but I'm going to do a quick flip through so I can catch any other cards I may have missed. Like the Kawaii Tarot is so small, but it feels so thick when you put all the cards together. But maybe that's like regular size. Bottom of the deck is the Fool in reverse. Now, the Fool in reverse, I believe it actually came out the last time I was live, not in the closet. The last time I used the tarot deck. And it's been like Fool in reverse, 8 of Cups in reverse. Like it's for us to stick something out, to work through something rather than being so quick to just like walk away from it. So the topic or the subject is the King of Wands. The King of Wands, we actually have 2 Happy Face Court cards. The King of Pentacles is the challenge. King of Pentacles in reverse is the challenge. So honestly, this could be like related to our passions. It could be related to something that lights us up, that brings joy to our hearts. Um, and it gives us a sense of like purpose. But with the challenge being the King of Pentacles in reverse, that could be like we don't necessarily feel that it can sustain us, or it isn't right now. The King of Pentacles in reverse being a challenge, though, take this as it resonates as always. The King of Pentacles being the challenge, though, it could be like us realizing that we may not have everything that we want, but we have all that we need. The King of Pentacles in reverse can also be a challenge to like utilize resources or to be a little bit more resourceful. Now, the advice is the Hanged Man in reverse with the Five of Swords upright. Notice how we don't have a single cup, and it was the cups that was the reason why. I was like, oh, I'll put in reversals, I'll do challenges, and I'll do advice because I love how this is happening. It's also interesting that we have, again, all four elements, well, 3 out of 4 elements are present. The King of Wands upright, King of Pentacles in reverse, Five of Swords. The only element missing is water, and the Hanged Man is here, which was like traditionally the element of water, more modernly Neptune through association and rulership Pisces. So the water is here. But water is here in the major arcana. And it's in reverse. The advice is the Hangman in reverse and the Five of Swords upright. The Five of Swords upright in the advice could be to like be a little not cutthroat or brutal, but it's to be less. It's not to be so partner with the Hangman in reverse. It's like it's not to be so understanding of other perspectives and to not be so understanding of other people that one doesn't do what it is that they need to do. I also wonder if with this King of Pentacles in reverse, your challenge might be to like not do so much for so many people. And maybe with this King of Wands, it is for you to maybe direct some of your funds, some of your disposable income. I was like, what is like excess income, excess earnings? It's like maybe there's something that you really, really want to do, or something that like you hear the rain coming in, the storm. It could be something that like you've really wanted to do for some time, and now you finally have the resources to do that. Or it's like, let's say you're offered a promotion, or you are offered an opportunity to relocate, and you're like, oh, but like this person is here, or that person needs me to do this. And the Ten of Wands is also a card that's been coming out quite a bit about, and it's been talking about burdens versus responsibilities. With the King of Pentacles in reverse, again, it may be time for you to either do the thing that seems to be a little bit more irrational, to take the chance, take the leap, to, again, like pour into you and to allow yourself to do what it is that you want to do rather than being there to supply another's need. Now, this would be someone who you are not obligated to take care of, that you have no responsibility for. Maybe it gives them the opportunity to grow up, like, and that's something that has been sort of floating a little bit kind of lately, about how sometimes when someone is so used to us being there for them, and they know that like if they run into trouble or if they have a need that we will take care of it, then they form a dependence on it. And then sometimes it can become one of those things where they just don't decide to do whatever again because they become reliant. With the Hangman and the Five of Swords, it could be very much so like cut yourself free, and to not necessarily worry about how somebody else is going to take it. I mean, it came out it came out in the advice, and that's again like Hangman in reverse, Five of Swords upright, cut yourself free. Don't be so overly compassionate that you don't do what is for you to do, and that you sacrifice your fire, your livelihood, your passion in ways that you don't necessarily have to. With the Fool in reverse, maybe that could be related to things that you've been wanting to do for a long time. Leaps that you've been wanting to take, experiences like brand new experiences that you've been wanting to have, but you haven't because of how you'd be perceived. Also with the King of Pentacles in reverse with the King of Wands upright, like you don't want to be perceived as like irresponsible or whatever, and maybe that stopped you. But the cards are saying that the time has come and gone, and it is now your time to do what you need to do for you. And again, I guess I don't have to put any additional caveats on this because if it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If you're going to take it, you will. And if you won't, you won't. But it's like I wouldn't necessarily, I feel like the challenge wouldn't be King of Pentacles in reverse with the advice being Hangman in reverse, Five of Swords upright if, like, this was for somebody selfish. Or for someone who is constantly doing what is within their own interests. Who's already like King of Wands uprighting and King of Pentacles in reversing. Like, I don't care if I'm not like doing the thing that makes sense. Like, it feels like, again, with the challenge coming out as the challenge and with the advice coming out as the advice, it would, in my opinion, and again, take it however, it would be for the one who is used to going without. Because they are there so much for so many others. And maybe also with this King of Wands upright, you found something that really calls to you. But again, there's almost a tower here, but it feels like you are a key pivotal piece in a Jenga tower and you need to move. And when you're pulled from the tower, the whole thing can sort of lose its foundation. But again, looking at the cards, it doesn't. And like, there's a way to go about doing things too, right? You don't necessarily have to go in guns blazing and be like, well, it's not my job, it's not my responsibility to take care of you and blah, 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 blah. But it is like one of those, I'll get one more. Like, there we go. Ooh, the Star. Who is this? Ooh, the Six of Cups. Okay. Oh, strength. Okay, I said one more. Ten of Cups. Bottom of the deck is the Lovers in reverse. So we go from the Fool in reverse, not being able to take that leap, to the Lovers in reverse. It feels like the Lovers in reverse could easily turn into spite. It could easily turn into one of those like, I'm doing this for you. Like, I'm putting my dreams on hold. I'm sacrificing this. I'm sacrificing that, all for you. And you're not. It's like when we can feel that something or someone else is holding us back. And there is a possibility that it could be one of those like, well, like, you never told me that you wanted to do this or do that. You never mentioned anything. I thought you were happy because you always smiled and said you were good. Like, I watched the second episode of the 6th season of Black Mirror yesterday. And she was like, he's amazing, but his food is so bland. And like, when I eat it, I'm just like, But it's like, girl, well, if you tell him that his food is a little bland, I'm sure he wouldn't mind adding a little more whatever you request. You know what I mean? But don't let it get to the point where like, you're ready to leave, or like it becomes one of these things that's huge because it goes unsaid, it goes unmentioned. Now with the Five of Swords, again, in the advice it's tricky because the Five of Swords is a card that is so but it does, it's like it's not mincing words, but you don't have to like intentionally try to hurt somebody's feelings. You know what I mean? There is a certain element of tact that can be present here. But yeah, with the lovers in reverse, it feels like when all of those things go unsaid, or when they're bottled up, or when we feel like that, how what is truly and genuinely love, because that King of Pentacles, I'm sure, was upright at some point, how it can almost turn sour because now it's like this person is holding me back, and that's the reason why I can't do this. So the cards that came out: Six of Cups upright, the Star in reverse, the Queen of Swords in reverse, the Six of Swords in reverse, and the Ten of Cups upright. So all of the cups are upright. The Swords and the Star in reverse. The Star is Aquarius energy. So we have Queen of Swords, Cardinal Air Libra, the Star fixed air Aquarius, and the Six of Swords also fixed air Aquarius. So there's no Gemini here. The Five of Swords is also fixed air Aquarius. That is the first and second decan. So that's the double Aqua, and then the Aqua Gemini. Aqua Gemini being the Six of Swords. And then just straight up Libra. So anyway. Six of Cups, Six of Swords, and the Lovers, which is also a 6. Only one of these 6s is upright, but a 6 in reverse is a 9. So the Six of Cups upright can be like a childhood dream. That's another thing I was going to mention with that Fool being in reverse. Or with the Fool being in reverse and the King of Wands being upright, the Six of Swords fell out in reverse on top of the King of Wands, by the way. So maybe that can be a like not feeling like you can progress towards wherever your passions and desires are leading you. Or again, like because of the King of Pentacles in reverse, not feeling like you have the resources, but there may be some like reprioritizing. There may be some shuffling that needs to be done for you to see that, oh, like you do. Or there may be more at your disposal than you think, or more for you to use and utilize than you may be aware of. Again, some things may just have to shift around. And with the Five of Swords and the Hanged Man, it's just like, even if it isn't necessarily that, like even if there's someone who's like used to us helping them out, but we are going through a challenging spot in life, or like things are coming up and we have to focus more attention on some of those things rather than that. Like, again, at that point, that's when it's like, it's not personal. I've just had other things come up that I need to take care of. Hopefully they can be understanding. But anyway, either it was finding a new passion or it could be the resurgence of one. With the Six of Cups up right here, it feels like the resurgence of one. In that same episode, like, it's like coffee. They're like, how's the coffee? And she's like, oh, it's terrible. And then, she goes to her therapy appointment, and the therapist is like, oh, how's the coffee? And she's like, it's terrible. She's like, it's not great. I wanted to own my own coffee shop, and if I had one, this would not be sold at our store. And so it's like, at the beginning of the episode, it's so many like compromises on things, like with the bland food. But at the end of it, like, she has her coffee shop. So it could be the resurgence of that with the Six of Cups being upright, and not in a nostalgic trap kind of way, but in a way of like, this is a dream that I used to have for a long time. And now that, and this was something else that came up, not a lot, but there have been like hints of this. It was more obvious in some things than other things. But it's like, now that you've invested the time, energy, and effort to give yourself a solid enough foundation to pursue the thing that you want to pursue, maybe it's just time for you to allow yourself to do that. And maybe you do so well in what it is that you do that you don't necessarily love doing that. Like you do become like a key, pivotal, integral part of a certain operation. But again, it's that like it's my time to go and do like this other thing, and they may be like, oh, but like you're so needed, like, you know what I mean? And maybe there's a way to navigate that. Maybe there is some, maybe you're like, if you ever have any questions, like just give me a call and I'll do my best to answer it. Maybe your compromise is like, okay, well, if you find somebody to replace me, I can give you 2 to 4 weeks to train them on everything that I know to set you up. I can leave notes, I can leave my process, I can do all of this so that you're in a better position. But this is still something that I need to do for me. Right. But that was an energy that kind of sort of came up a little bit. And I guess also in that show, it was there. Again, not necessarily as blatant, but it's like it's because the King of Pentacles was the King of Pentacles upright for as long as it was, that now it has the resources to be the King of Wands upright and to step away from that King of Pentacles, to do what one wants to do rather than what one feels that they need to do. Maybe you're close to retirement age. Maybe it's not even a retirement age. Maybe you have a retirement mind and you're like, not doing this anymore and we're going in that direction. With the Star in reverse and the Queen of Swords in reverse, Six of Swords in reverse, all on the side of this. The Six of Swords, again, is the one that's actually touching the King of Wands. This is interesting. Because if I read this as a Celtic cross, because it's 4 cards, the past would be the Six of Cups upright, which makes sense. The future would be the Six of Swords in reverse, which would make sense if the Six of Swords was upright because it's a card of movement. But because the Six of Swords in reverse, again, it could be that like you circle back to something from the past. And it works now in a way that it didn't before. Now, crowning it would be the Queen of Swords in reverse, and then the foundation would be the Star in reverse. Now, a Queen of Swords in reverse crown, it can be almost a challenge to let something work out better than you might think. Or it can be a challenge to put all of one's like judgments and preconceived notions and all that you sort of like know about the world and about business and about life and about relationships, to not completely throw it away. But again, with that Fool and with the Fool being in reverse, it's like, put all of that aside. It's just like, just try it and see. I think the Queen of Swords in reverse can also be the one that's a little jaded. The Queen of Swords would be, and the Queen of Wands, I think, would be two of the queens who don't necessarily take a Western traditional feminine sort of like role of like being subservient or being a servant or like not necessarily being the one in charge. And again, it depends on the industry. But the Queen of Swords can be the one that's like outspoken and very opinionated and might find herself in situations where that's not appreciated. And so again, she may grow, not even necessarily like bitter or jaded, but it's like she gets used to needing to talk and move and navigate in a certain way in order to be taken seriously. But with her being in reverse, it's like that wouldn't necessarily be necessary moving forward. It's also interesting because the Six of Swords, and it's also on the Lovers. All of the sixes, I don't know if the Six of Wands has the same. Page of Wands is in reverse under this Lovers in reverse. They all have like half of the wreath. Now, if with these two in reverse, if this one was in reverse, they'd all be the same. No, it'd still be going in the other direction. If either the Six of Swords or the Lovers were upright, then we would be able to form like a laurel wreath. The laurel wreath being symbolic of victory, then we would have that Six of Wands energy of victory, right? You put the laurel wreath on the winner. But they're both in reverse, and even when they're both in reverse, it's like they're facing the same direction, so they don't necessarily complete each other in a way that is necessarily conducive towards whatever this King of Wands is wanting, whatever you're wanting to bring about in your life, whatever change is happening. The star in reverse being the foundation is interesting. That's a little bit of a challenging one to read. That can either be you've already healed, you've already it's one of those like you've already assembled all the pieces to get a thing, you just need to put it together. And it can be challenging to do that when we don't feel that we have it. Right? It can be challenging to start like putting things together when we don't think we have all the pieces. Or it can be challenging to take that leap of faith when we don't know if we'll fail or succeed or if we'll flop or fall or fly. Now, the Ten of Cups is here under the Hanged Man and the Five of Swords. So, again, definitely giving energies of a fortuitous outcome. But I think the Ten of Cups in this position could be a little deceiving because we might find that the Ten of Cups is a card of emotional fulfillment, especially with other people, like family, lovers, partners, everybody, the dog, the cat. And so when we see a card that is that like joyous and fortuitous, we might think everything works out, and it will. But sometimes in order for things to work out in one way, other things must be done away with. So it could be one of those like at the end of the day, like we're going to come into a happiness, a joy, a peace, a fulfillment, a prosperity. But to get there, it might require us to sever ties with people, to move and relocate for certain relationships to grow weaker, either because of distance that comes into play or because of time away, especially under the Hangman and the Five of Swords. I just don't want to like minimize that part because I think sometimes if we only look at the good stuff that's coming around the bend, with the Six of Swords, especially in reverse, when we encounter challenge or when we see anything that we didn't necessarily read, we may think that we're not getting it, but the reward may lie on the other side of that. So that's why at least I try to read with a balanced approach. But yeah, Six of Swords in reverse with the Six of Cups upright feels like circling back to something of the past. It feels like a dream or a passion that one may have had for a long time. And again, with that Ten of Cups, it doesn't speak of money, but it speaks of like, there's a wealth of like feeling like you're doing the thing that you really want to do. It's not that you're not going to be prosperous. It's not that there won't be some wealth. It's just not on the table. So I'm not going to tell you you're going to be super successful, but you're going to be happy. The cards say you're going to be happy. You're going to be real happy. And it has a potential to work out much, much, much better than you thought. I think, though, with this Hanged Man in reverse and the Star in reverse, there is something within you. It almost feels like as you've been living that King of Pentacles up, when the King of Pentacles was upright, when you were doing whatever you needed to do to keep bread on the table, food in your belly and the lights on and the water running, there may have been things that you've noticed. Like maybe you came across a lot of people who were like, man, I really wish that there was something that could be done about this. Maybe it's related to that thing that you've always wanted to do. Or maybe the thing that you've wanted to do is just to like, maybe it's a little bit more abstract. Like maybe you wanted to be a business owner or an inventor or like a doctor. But it wasn't like I want to own like a coffee shop or a bookstore. I want to invent the next hoverboard that actually flies. I want to be a cardiac surgeon or whatever. Maybe it's just like, business owner, inventor, whatever, but you don't know what that thing is. Maybe it's because it's something that you pick up over time. And now you're at that point where you've lived enough and whatever to know what it is or to feel where it is that you're being pulled and drawn towards. And that'll be the direction that you move in. And then I feel like if that's the case, it would make sense that the Queen of Swords is in reverse. Less from a personal standpoint and more from like a world viewpoint. Because then it's almost like you would be coming in to bring a solution to a problem that a lot of people may not feel that there is one. That's what I got for you. This is actually gorgeous. It's actually beautiful. If it resonates, take it. If it don't take it. But honestly, again, at the end of the day, do whatever you want to do because it's your life and you're going to. And I strongly encourage you to. So, I hope you have an amazing whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path, journey, and way you find. I actually kind of enjoy this format. It's been half an hour, which I didn't necessarily expect, but that's fine. That is more than okay. Again, if the volume is loud, I guess I apologize, but at the same time, like I hope you would turn it down if it's a little too loud. I see it pushing towards the red, but also it sounded. I don't know if it'll sound a little less echoey with it closer to me. So I'm just experimenting. And like I said, I was just going to record like a 5-second video of la 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 to see what it sounded like, but I didn't. So, all right. What card are we leaving the folks off on? 2 cards. Oh my goodness. 2 cards flipped over in the deck. Bottom of the deck is the 6 of Cups upright. The 2 cards that flipped over in the deck, it's the Emperor and the Empress. What? The Emperor, the Empress, and the 6 of Cups. Who's under the 6 of Cups? The Star still in reverse. With the 9 of Swords in reverse, but with the 9 of Swords being in reverse, it looks like a 6 of Swords. Looks like that 6 of Swords we didn't have earlier. So yeah, this is definitely healing and working past prior blockages with that 9 of Swords being in reverse. With that Star card in reverse. So now it feels more like a direction. It's internal. There's internal healing that needed to be done in order for us to navigate past internal blockages to allow ourselves to receive the things that it is for us to receive and to do the things that is for us to do. To be seen in certain ways, but to also contribute and to be to be able to play a role of support rather than needing to take center stage or whatever. So it feels a little like, especially in this context with the final cards, it feels a lot more like us doing an internal, because sometimes it's like we heal things internally with an external focus. But this is like an internal healing with an internal focus that then gives us the confidence or the ability to navigate our external in a way that's different. But that's not the focus, right? So anyway, the Emperor and the Empress came out together. Venus and Mars are about to conjunct in Leo. So that is on the verge of happening. And maybe that's what the cards are about. I don't know. Anyway, I will catch you later. Bye.